What's up, Taco fans? Got something a little different for you. Today we're going to install a Weboost system on the Tacoma to see if I can improve my signal quality, especially when I'm out in the woods and have absolutely no reception. Hoping this will give me a little bit of something in case of emergencies where I need to make a call or get something out. But we'll see what happens. If it gives me even just a little better signal in very low signal areas, it'll be better than what I have now. Anyways, so let's get started. Basically, got the Weboost 4G-X OTR system to install, and for it, instead of just mounting the antenna up on the rack where it's solid, I actually got a Rhino rack adjustable mount. This way, I can fold it when I'm not basically using it, or when I'm on the trail and there's low-lying branches, so nothing gets caught up, and I'll just flip it back up when I'm actually needing the signal. This way nothing gets caught up and on a branch and breaks or anything like that. I actually got this idea from the Last Line of Defense, who has an awesome channel, and I'm just going about it a little bit differently on how I'm gonna do the mount, adjustable mount for the antenna. I also, just in case, got one of the heavy duty stainless steel springs for the antenna in case it does get hit something. At least it'll give it a little more room for movement without messing anything up. So that's pretty much it. I'll link everything in the description section in case you want to go the same route. But let's get started with this install. Alright, so let's see what's in the kit. I think it's going to be a fairly easy install. Hopefully I don't just trust myself, but I'm hoping it should be a quick and easy install. I'm probably going to run the wires the same way I ran the CB, through the breather vent in the back of the cab, between the truck bed and the cab, and run the wire all the way to the front the same way, just to make life easier. It looks like it's pretty simple, straightforward. Just run the antenna wire into the module, where I'm gonna probably install under the seat. I'm thinking. We'll see when I run the wire in. And then I know there's another antenna that has to go somewhere else, so inside, probably close to like the dash area. So we'll start off with the antenna and then go from there. Looks like they actually gave you a spring. Maybe I should have looked inside the box before I ordered the additional spring, but hey, having a spare couldn't hurt. So let's get this going. Alright, we're gonna start off by mounting the antenna. The kit comes with 2 extension pieces. I'm not gonna use them. I don't really want an antenna that long hanging off the top of the roof, so I'm just gonna use the main antenna section, and not the extension pieces. This way it's not sticking out too far up. If I find later on in the future that I do need it to be higher up, I can always put them on. It's not that difficult to add them in, but for right now, I think this hanging off the top of the truck should be high enough to get hopefully some signal. So shouldn't be too difficult. First we'll mount this up and then run the line and then go from there. So I'm just gonna get everything ready and then we'll start mounting. Alright, this is what this Rhino rack mount looks like. It's gonna connect to my Prinsu rack through here, and I will be sticking the antenna through this end. To adjust it, it's basically just loosening up this bolt, taking it out, and pulling on this lever and just adjusting it to the position you want. Pretty easy. And it'll just make life easier for when this thing is not in use to fold down, so I don't have to worry about it getting caught up in anything and breaking. So I hope it works. I don't think it won't, so let's get this mounted and see how it goes. I'm actually going to mount it to the Prinsu rack right there, that slot right there. Basically using the supplied hardware. They give you different types of hardware to mount it. I'm just using this back plate and some of the screws that came with it, and I think they should fit perfectly right there to mount it on and keep it in place. Alright, so we got it mounted. It even has a cool little slot to save your screw, so you don't have to worry about losing it somewhere. But let's get the antenna mounted to it so we can start running the line. Alright, so the Rhino rack mount supplies you with some bigger washers too. Definitely recommend using it so it doesn't slide through the top of the hole and it sits flush to the mount. The antenna does. Alright, so we got it mounted. Let's see how this looks flipped down, and then we can start running the wire. Alright, looks good. Sitting there pretty solid. There's a nice little gap in between, but I'll probably still put something down there just for the bumps, you know, in case it taps. But looks good. It holds very well, and like I said, all I got to do is unscrew this and pull up the latch, and it's up, pointing upwards when I need it. So now it's just time to run the wire in and get the system hooked up inside. Alright, so we have to remove the storage panel behind the driver's side rear seat to access the vent opening where I'm going to run the wire. It's an easy thing to remove. You just got to unscrew those bolts and you'll have access to it. We'll slide the wire through like I have the CB wire, as you can see, running down here, and we'll run it through the same location. Alright, gentlemen, as you can see, the hard part's going to be trying to fish that through. So I'm going to put the camera down because I'm going to need two hands to try, or two sets of fingers to try to get that wire out. So let me reach in there and try to pull it out so we can run this wire. Perfect. Got her through, and now just got to pull her through. As you can see, there's a little rubber flap over there that now sticks up because these two wires are hanging in there. I'm gonna have to figure out a solution for that because it is extra dusty in here or back here, but I'm sure it would be extra dusty in here even with that, with those wires not there, because that flap doesn't seal fully. So I'm gonna have to figure out a better solution for that to try to keep some of this dust from coming in here. But for now, let's stick to the main project of installing this thing. Alright, as you guys can see, when you remove the trim piece, there's a few clips that hold one of the stock wiring harnesses in. There's plenty of room to run the additional wires in between with it, so it's easy. You just pull on this tab and pull it up and it clips right back in. That way we can run the unit, the actual main unit where the antenna plugs in, the external antenna and the internal antenna plug in, along with the power source under the seat. And then we're gonna probably run the main antenna somewhere in the dash area, thinking maybe under the driver's side dash, most likely. So first I just want to finish running this wires and running these wires and just putting the trim piece back in, then we'll mount the antenna and figure things out from there. Alright guys, so I decided I'm gonna run the internal antenna from here. Mounting it here with a Velcro adhesive that they provided should be fine. It's nice and hidden and out of the way, and right in front near where the cell phone's going to be, or the tablet, so it should help with increasing the signal and be close enough to the devices I needed to provide increased signal for. Alright guys, got everything hooked up and ready. Got the unit underneath the seat, and the power module for it right here. Gonna run it just back here and plug into the cigarette outlet inside the glove box, inside the little storage box over here. And I don't like having a wire hanging out, but this is just gonna be temporary, and then until I most likely either figure out a different route for it to hide it to go in there, or just hardwire the actual power directly and run a switch in the front to avoid having wires sticking out. But for right now, just to play around with this thing and test it out, I'm just gonna have it run through here and down to the power outlet in there, and play around with this unit for a little while. But it's pretty easy, simple install. Hopefully it does a great job of amplifying the signal. like I said earlier, we ran the wire through the rear vent, down underneath the trim all the way to here, and to under the seat, to where the module is going to sit. Now, if I find this module is moving around way too much, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to mount it somewhere in there. But this is with the seat like all the way forward, so you won't be able to see this one. I'm in my normal seating position. The seat's moved further back, so this shouldn't be a problem shouldn't have a problem with people stepping on this or anything like that. It's going to be fully under there, but if it moves around too much, I will be mounting it differently, and definitely doing something about having a wire coming up through here, because that's just going to really aggravate my OCD, but we'll see how it goes.